Hey y'all, it's Mara with Right Kinda Lost, and I wanted to talk to you today about the 10 essentials and why those 10 items are important to have in your pack at all times, even on just a mile day hike. You never know what can happen, and you might get stuck out in the woods longer than you expected, and these 10 items will keep you safe and keep you mostly comfortable. So the first item is first aid kit. Very important. I make my own, but you can buy them. And it just has items that are necessary for any kind of wounds, or I even have biofreeze for sore muscles, or just antibiotics, and just packed full of goodies that help in the event of something bad happening. Another item is a map and compass, and it's real important to have an actual paper map and a compass so that you're not depending on your cell phone battery or any other kind of batteries. And we're really good about telling people that they have to have a map and compass, but we don't tend to tell people how to use them. So I do have a blog post on how to read in a map and how to use a compass so that you can help yourself stay found, and that's really important. Another thing that's really important is extra food, and this is one I'm really bad about doing. I just tend to forget snacks, which I don't know why, because I love to eat. But generally you want to have at least one extra day's worth of food with you, just in case something happens, because food is fuel, and it makes you, if you're hungry, you tend to be a little weaker. And along that same lines, extra water is another essential. So I usually carry 3-liter Camelback, just because I have a 3-liter Camelback and I fill it up. I like to drink water, and I don't like running out of water. Sometimes that's way too much, but you know, it's extra water. If you're in a place where you're not going to have a water source, you're literally going to want extra water. But if you're going someplace where you can run into water sources, I generally carry a life straw that will filter water. I used to carry water tablets, but I kind of like things to be real cheap, and the life straw is actually way more cost effective in the long run. So just a life straw in case you get stuck out in the woods, you can safely drink and not worry about getting giardia or any other kind of dirty things that are in the water. Extra clothes are important. I like to take a rain jacket and another shirt, just in case you want to be able to get warm if you're stuck out in the woods, or if you get wet, you can change this to something dry. So that, I always like to carry that. This is an emergency shelter, or a heat reflecting blanket, and it reflects your heat back, so you can either wrap up in it, or you can make a lean-to and get under and get out of the weather. I like that it's easy to spot, so in case you do get lost, they can see this thing from a ways away. And usually when I used to think, when they say, you know, bring a shelter, emergency shelter, I was like, I don't want a day hike with my tent, but this is really all you need, just something you can use in a pinch. Sun protection is also very important. Sunburns can give you a fever. I had a fever from a sunburn before. It was wretched. But this will help just protect you from the sun. You also want a knife and some sort of repair kit, or something. I just have duct tape and my knife that my brother-in-law gave me. This will help you get in a pinch in case you have to pretend to be MacGyver on something. You also want a light source, because you don't want to be stuck out after dark and not be able to see. So some kind of light source and extra batteries is important too. And you also want a fire source. So in case you need to start a fire, you can cook with it, or you can warm up with it, or you can send smoke signals or whatever, but you need to have a fire source. And some things that I consider I would put on the list that aren't on some of the lists, but one is a whistle. That way when search and rescue is trying to find you, a whistle carries a lot further than human voices. In fact, a guy got lost a couple months ago, and he said that he heard search and rescue yell for him, and when he yelled back, they did not hear him. So a whistle is just a little more projecting. Also, if you're on medication that you have to have every day, I suggest you bring at least a couple of days worth of that medication, because if you do get stuck outside, you don't want to miss your dose of medication and it make you sick. So if you have any essential that you always carry with you, leave me a comment, let me know. Thanks.